You ever heard of stasis? Or cryostasis is the only thing that I could think of. It's basically when they freeze a human to defrost them later and you know, after some time has passed, to, you know, to survive through periods of famine or whatever. There's a bunch of different reasons why it's been thought about or talked about in science fiction plots. We're gonna react to Stasis Nightmares today, which is a multi-part. This is episode 1. It's by Nightmare Tales. Make sure to head on over to their channel and subscribe. Hit the notification bell, guys. And if you like reaction videos, make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Let's get into this animation. Stasis Nightmares Episode 1, The Rat Man. Alright. Alright, spaceship. Orbiting outside Earth.
2100 AD.
2100 AD.
Earth has been overrun by an incurable virus. All attempts to contain the disease have failed, and the wealthy and powerful flee the planet in search of a new star.
COVID done got bad, y'all.
On board are 10,000 citizens, all secured in deep stasis and watched over by a team of loyal androids.
All right. One big
Stasis,
refrigerator.
a technology still not fully tested, has in some rare cases led to permanent psychological damage due to the onset of nightmares from which they cannot awaken.
Uh-oh. Nightmares from the stasis. So it's not cryostasis, it's
This
regular
citizen
stasis.
finds himself in the Whitechapel district of London in 1888.
Okay, nightmare.
This area became infamous for being the hunting ground of Jack the Ripper, who over the course of just over 2 months was believed to have abducted and brutally murdered 5 young
Right.
women.
The art style is so good right here.
In some cases, the victims were so horrifically mutilated that it took extensive legwork by the police to be able to identify the bodies.
That's crazy, dude. How
After the
brutal
first
could you
3
be?
deaths, word had spread all over London's
Sup,
East End,
girl?
and the women who worked the streets
like a
at night were
prostitute.
faced with the horrific reality that the very thing they were forced to do in order to survive was the very same thing that exposed them to the killer,
Yeah, they
and a
became
violent,
targets.
untimely death.
Yep.
The whole district was on high alert,
Right.
and even though there was an increased police presence in the area, the murders would continue.
Mm-hmm.
Our citizen in stasis, believing he is an inspector tasked with finding the culprit
eat,
behind the
buddy?
murders, sits in a local pub having his supper. When out of the corner of his
Very
eye,
vivid nightmare,
he
huh?
notices something very strange indeed.
Yeah.
His table was positioned at the rear of the room,
Look at
giving
this
him a clear
sleeping
view
dude.
towards the kitchen
Passed
beyond.
out on the beers.
The view of the filthy kitchen was a sight he could tolerate. However, it wasn't
The
until he
heck?
saw the enormous tail of a rodent that his stomach
That's the
truly
rat
turned.
man. Looked like an earthworm for a minute there.
Disgusted, he stood up from his table, drew his truncheon, and crept as silently as he could
beat it to
towards
death?
the filthy animal. His plan to smash it over the head halted as he realized he wasn't looking at a wild creature.
No.
He was in fact staring at a fully clothed humanoid rat that was rapidly filling a bag with scraps.
Right. He was just
"Oi!"
trying to
he
eat.
shouted. And the
was just
rat-like
hungry.
creature, startled, turned and hissed at the inspector
Yeah.
before rapidly disappearing into the pile of
Can you
trash.
imagine? The big
The
rats can
inspector
give you
was frozen
rabies.
where
Just
he
think what
stood.
that thing could give you.
Questioning what he had just seen. Was he
Maul
going
you with them
insane?
teeth too and claws.
He exited the pub and walked to the rear of the building, finding no trace of the rat man. Only more
Gone.
trash and more places for it to
It's like
hide.
a cat burglar, but a rat
On
burglar.
his way home, he passed
Just
by
wanted
several
to eat,
ladies
man.
of the night,
Uh-huh.
warning them all not to be there when he came back.
Ladies of the night. Yeah.
They told him they
Get
knew
off
the
streets.
risks, but what choice did they have?
You're gonna
To
get
get off the
ratted.
street, they had to work the streets. They felt they had a better chance of fighting off or avoiding a psychopath than they did the cold
Wow.
or starvation.
It's true.
He walked away, leaving them to their fate, not having dared tell them of what else might be lurking out
No, I mean, it doesn't
fear of
matter
being
whether
labeled
it's
a
Jack the
madman.
Ripper or Rat the
So-
Ripper.
there. The next day, he
Or Jack
inquired
the
at
Rat.
several taverns and restaurants, inspecting their kitchens and alleyways, asking the question about trouble with rats, to
Uh-huh.
which they all laughed and said,
We ain't got rats.
"This is London, you know. Rats are everywhere."
Oh, yeah, right.
None of them spoke of seeing
It's
what
true.
he had witnessed, though. However, he didn't prompt any of them to do so, for fear of being mocked even further.
Is it that funny, dude? Dang.
Exactly a week later,
It's true.
after yet another battered and mutilated
London's supposed
body
to
had
have a
been
lot of
reported,
rats. I've never
he
been.
saw it again.
Yeah.
While smoking his pipe in a gaslit alley, he saw the shadow of what he was certain
Was
was
the rat
the
man.
rat man.
Yeah.
He extinguished his
hungry.
pipe and then made his way down the stone terrace, the light behind him fading and the road ahead stretching deeper into the darkness.
Dark alley with a rat.
His eyes slowly adjusting, he was able to make out the rat man's shape again,
Where's Where's he going?
heading down some stairs at the base of a building.
Alright.
Down into the cellar below.
Alright. Is that where he
He
lives?
cautiously moved onward.
Bro, where's your
With his
gun?
baton in his hand, he made his way down the stairs
Where's your gun?
and
You
peered
need a
into
rat
the
gun.
keyhole of the door. Even though the scene before him was shocking and bizarre, he was convinced his eyes weren't playing tricks on him this time.
Is that where the victims of the ladies were?
There was a young lady lying on the floor. The rat man was closing in on her. The inspector was certain he had found his culprit.
Was the rat man
He
gonna
burst
do
into the
something?
room, and to his
He's feeding
surprise, the
her.
rat man wasn't doing anything untoward with the young lady.
He was stealing food to
He was
feed her.
actually feeding her the
What?
scrap food. It appeared he was helping her.
Yeah. Was she
The
victimized?
startled rat man hissed at the inspector and then disappeared into a large crack
Was she
in the wall.
victimized by Jack the Ripper, maybe?
The inspector, not seeing the need to go after him, then moved in closer to the semi-conscious lady
Right.
and asked her if she was all right.
Girl would... Oh no.
Her eyes
What's
had
wrong with her
rolled
back?
into her head as she looked up at him
Oh,
and
no,
gave
no,
out
no,
a
no, no, no.
blood-curdling moan just as the
Kids,
sheet on her back
rat
shifted
children
around
in her
like
back.
a pot about to boil. He then knew that things here were not right, and he was overwhelmed
That's
with the
why he
sinking
was
feeling
feeding
that they
her.
were about to get even worse.
Babies. Rat
The
babies.
inspector pulled back the sheet and revealed dozens
No,
of baby
they were
rats
all feeding-
all over
No,
her
no,
body,
no, no.
all suckling at her flesh, drawing nutrients from her blood.
That's why he was feeding her.
As he reeled back, the door to the cellar
That's
burst open
horrible.
and a huge figure with glowing red eyes moved in on him.
What the hell is
Every
this?
ounce of his being became saturated with fear, and he was unable to override his instinct to turn and run.
What was it?
Run as fast as
Just
he
part
could.
of the nightmare?
Off into the night. Back on the ship, the android medics had been
Wow.
alerted to the citizens' irregular brainwaves
Yeah.
and were monitoring them to ensure they didn't reach dangerous levels.
He was panicking.
What was of more concern, though,
Say
was
he
the
died
other
in
alert they had
dreams.
received from another citizen
Like in the Matrix.
in the same group of pods.
Huh.
The medic stood and watched the monitor in silence, trying to make sense of the anomaly.
Wait, it happened between
It
two
appeared that somehow this woman had suddenly fallen pregnant.
people? I'm sorry, what?
While a wry smile went undetected on the face of a citizen right next to her.
What? Oh, yo, he had a dream about getting her pregnant and she got pregnant. Dude, the dreams, they're in sequence and they're happening to people in states. That's wild, dude. This seems like an awesome concept. I can't wait to react to more episodes from him. Guys, Nightmare Tales, make sure to subscribe to him as well as a couple other videos that I reacted to him from here. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off and we'll see you next time.
Break it down.